There's always a half inch that goes. Where did these things go? I'm always missing a half inch, right? Tell me. Always the same ones. Hello? Yes. Tr6 parts is gone. What? No, it's not. No, Tr6 parts are not gone. No, we just changed the names. Change the name to Tr Restoration. Yes. Where are you going to get parts from? Well, the same. You have their online store. Yes. BritishCarPartsOnline.ca. Yes, they still do all the parts. Yes, except used. They're not doing used anymore. Oh yeah. No, John is still making the videos. Still has the Facebook page and YouTube channel. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Oh, he's done amazing videos. Yeah. Yeah, you glad he's going to be still doing them? Yeah. I know. I watch them all the time. I know. I still go. I watch them so much. I feel like I'm into myself. Yeah. You had stainless steel bumpers for Tr6? Yeah, you can still get them. Yeah. Yeah, you go to the online store, BritishCarPartsOnline.ca. Yeah, you'll get them there. Yeah. You wish you'd make a video. Video on installing the bumpers? You want a video on removing the old, heavy, rusty, pitted, terrible bumpers for nice stainless steels? I'm sure you can do that. Yeah, no, I'll ask him. I know him very well. Yeah, I know him so good. I almost feel like himself. Yeah, I'll just give him a call. It's like, hey John, can you do a video, John? I need you to do a video on removing old, crummy, heavy, pitted Tr6 bumpers and putting on some nice stainless steel bumpers. John. Yeah, I think he'll do it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll do it. Yeah, just keep an eye on that Tr Restoration YouTube channel. Yeah, you'll see it there. Yeah, will do. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, bye. Well, John, I guess I'm making a video on swapping bumpers. Let's get to it. Okay, so we want to get the front bumper off. We've taken out the two side ones, and now we're going to move on to the two main ones that hold along. The overrider itself, the actual overrider itself, doesn't do anything. That just goes through this. If you want to take that off, you can. It just takes a little bit of weight off it, but it doesn't actually stop you taking the bumper off. Now, as you can see, I put axle stands underneath it. They don't reach up because the car is jacked in the air, and the whole idea is that when it comes loose, it's going to sit on it and just take the weight of it so it doesn't just go. Because I want to be able to take the weight and take it off on my own accord. Because once it comes loose, I want to try to get a rag in here and tape it up so this doesn't come up and scratch the body. If you've seen the one I've done for the 74 Tr6, the Delft Blue, and I do the exact same putting them on. I wrap them up and put them around until I get these fixed, and then I slide them out. Just enough that it gets in. It's just, you don't want it to rip apart. Now, so where are we going to take it from? I have to take the camera down for this. So when we're underneath, obviously the wheel is off, which is way easier. But in there, you can see the bolt. Sorry, I can't zoom in and hold the camera and the light at the same time. There it is there. I can't remember if it's a 9/16 or a 5/8. I'm pretty sure it's a 9/16. So once we unbolt that, it will come out. Now, the thing to remember is, sorry to put the camera back on the stand. While I do this, because everything I do is in real time. It has to be. I use you should need one of these, which is a swivel head one. Just because it's not exactly straight, so you need that bit of an angle on it. And of course, I'm using the impact gun. I have to move the camera again. I'm using the impact gun because it just allows me to take it off quicker. Now I'm going to try to put this lamp up here. I don't think she's going to play though. I think she's going to fall. I'll try to give me sunlight. See what I'm doing. Although to be honest, I haven't done anything. I'll try the fire. It looks a bit too big. I'm pretty sure it's a 9/16. Now I might need a shorter one to make sure it goes in. And obviously we're putting new bolts in, take them back out, so let's see how much we can get onto this. There's my airline. Unfortunately, I can't get the camera down any lower to show you unbolting. Sorry, I can move the camera around now. No matter where I put it, the camera's in a bad spot. So I'm going to leave it just here for the moment. While I get in here, and it might be a little loud. I need a short one. It's too long. Too long, it just doesn't give me any room. It's up here. Hopefully it doesn't move the camera too much. Actually, what I'm going to do, I have an idea. I'm going to use a smaller one. I have to go get an extension, 1 second. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going down, instead of a 1/2 drive, I'm going to use a 3/8 because I feel that will give me a bit more room to get in there. There we go. And I should have the adapter that will allow me to still use the gun. Let me see where we are. Well, that came off quick. There you go. Now, that's one off. Now we go do the same on the far side. As you can see, it hasn't moved. So what I'm going to try to do is, the camera came down a bit more. What I'm going to try to do is, now I took this off with impact gun, it's off. The next one I'm going to try to do it by hand. I'm hoping if I can get it by hand, then I'll be able to ease it down. The nut's stuck in the socket. Okay, let me get it. Now, the good thing is I haven't taken the wheel off on the far side, so I'm hoping this won't affect it. Let me try to zoom out a bit. Hoping it won't affect in the way that I just have enough clearance to do it. Turn the wheel. This went in first. Okay, the good thing about it is, believe it or not, it actually turned pretty easy. So I should be able to do this by hand. So now we're going to watch and you'll see it, hopefully slowly, starting to land on the axle stands there. Here comes Leon. And see, the good thing about this, so I'm controlling the speed at which it comes down. So, in saying that, I don't want to go too much. It's not going to shoot off until the bolt is all the way in. No. Now stop there. Hopefully you have enough room to now put still not touching this yet. I was going to have this far yet. I'm hoping I have enough room now to, yeah, I can take it out a piece. So now I can get my cloth around the edge and actually tape it on. Ah. Oh, good God. Brutal. Well, it really is. Unless there's something sharp down there, it's catching. But I have to make sure I get some under the bumper so it stops it moving. Okay, there's one. I'll do this with it. This is a rag. I got one. I think I'll come up with more stuff prepared for this one. It starts up, I'll finish it. Oh, it starts up before I'm ready to do it. This one's a little tighter. But again, just allow that if it does slip, that at least it's not going to go take chunks of paint off. So I'm going to do the exact same I'm putting the back on. Now again, this is just based on one person doing it. If you have two, then you can hold it and actually get it in and put the screws in by hand. And I do the opposite. I take the two front ones off and then do the corner ones by hand. And then just hold it. So, but when you're on your own, you don't have that luxury. Came off. Bit of a tight squeeze in here. Get a hand in there. The nut is almost off. I thought it might come off by hand, I guess not. The good thing about the impact gun is it took it off so quick. I should have done it the other way around and on this side off, but that way I wouldn't have my head in the back of the car. We've got a lot of meat in this thing. should come off now. There she goes. Oh, I hate that. No one knows about to come off. You can just turn it and then all of a sudden it gets stuck again. Now, this is not always the case. You don't always come off easy. In fact, very rarely you come off easy. Now, don't touch the bumper because she's being held by the axle stands. A couple of washers. You'd be amazed what washers do. Look at all them. You'd be amazed at what they do when you go to take something out. How a washer can turn and bind. Amazing. Still more than mine. There she comes. Now, let me show you something before we finish here. Now, the two bars on the side, and this is an option, but you should do it for later on, right? And I feel like this bar here goes from the frame up to the bumpers, and that's one of the main supports for it. You can loosen these. There are a bolt that goes right through. When you put it back on, we are going to loosen this because then it allows the plate to line up the bumper. Then we're going to tighten this up. Now, since it was lined up, I didn't feel a need to undo it, but I think it wasn't perfect with the hole in the front. We'll have a look now, and I think if I loosened these, it would have come off a lot easier. So let's go have a look what stopped it from creeping out. Okay, they are there. See, it's the hole is slightly higher, so it's getting stuck on the body there. That one actually, I don't know if it's any better. But we're going to loosen them off, and then that will adjust. As soon as you loosen them, that will allow the hole to go up and down, and that will stop it from getting stuck like the way it did. And they'll go in a lot better, and we'll fix it. And then when we get the side ones in, so we'll get these two in, bolt them up to hold the weight the exact same we've done before, and then we'll try fix it from the side. Ideally, if I have two people, great. Axle stands just work with one just to hold the weight. And again, if you have two people, do the front two first, and then do the side ones. And that way, because then one person has a side each, and then out she should come. All right, I'm going to clean this mess up. That's it for the end of the day, for me, time-wise. So we'll come back to this the next day, and we're going to remove the rear bumper, and then we'll have a little talk about the new bumpers, and then we're going to clean it up, and we're going to put them on. I do have to take his license plate off, so that will have to come off, so I can transfer it over. But for now, we're going to clean it up and get ready to go. I will take the wheel off just because it's handier than trying to wedge your head between the tyre. I should have done that, so I should have known better. Okay, that's it. And if you want to know anything more about these bumpers before we get into the conversation, they are available at Tr6 Parts. You can contact me if you want to give me a shout. Go onto the website, tr6parts.com, send me an email and ask, I'll give you a pricing, because the bumpers do vary depending if they're the early ones or late ones, but we'll go into a bit more detail with that when we go to install them. Other than that, all right, see you in the next part where we'll start with the rear end. See you then. Okay, welcome back. So now we're going to work on the rear bumper. This bumper is sort of the same but completely different, if that makes any sense at all. The bumper is held on the same way. We have a bolt in here, same on the far side, and two main bolts at the back. The bumper itself is a three-piece. However, we don't need to take it apart, nor do we need to take these big heavy overriders off. We don't need to take them off. You can if you want, to save a bit of weight. But to be honest, it'd be just as easy to take the whole thing in one go. Hence why I have larger axle stands here, just because of the height. Now, where do we go with this? In an ideal world, I'd love to remove the rear bolts and leave these to last so it can actually control the descent in which it comes down. Because these are longer, it's more likely wants to flip up, which you may discover if you go to take off a rear bumper. You realise when you take it off, it wants to flip just simply by the weight. And that's why I have them positioned there to try stop that. However, it's easier said than done. If we could take these off last, at least you could actually hold it down a bit more. However, we can't. We have to do these first, and I'm going to show you why. In here, we have a bracket. Let me see if I can show you a bit light. This bracket here. This bracket is to come off, and it basically bolts on, and it starts here. We're going to take these two out, and it goes all the way up to the bumper, which is here. And we're going to remove this completely, because the actual bolt for the rear of it is in line with this. Now, you think, oh, why do I need to remove this if the bolt is all the way back there? Well, let me show you. And probably the only way they can show you is to take, hopefully it sticks there. I might have to put it here. Oh, I'm going to take the camera off because I have to show you where the bolt is. The bolt is, it's all the way in. It's hard to do this now. Oh. It's, I don't know if you can see it, but it's, we zoom in. I'm going to move the light again. You can see it there. There's the bolt. Now, to get to that is pretty awkward because it's right at the bumper. So the only real option is to run, sorry, to zoom out again. When we remove this one, we can actually run from in here we'll do a 3/8 drive, and we can actually run it all the way through into it, and it actually pops out here in almost a straight line. It's actually more up the top, and that allows us to actually get it out without trying to, otherwise we have to try to get in here, because trying to get a ratchet in here to go sideways is near damn impossible. It can be done, but it is so awkward. It's easier to run a bar from there, and it runs down, and it will just come out. Obviously we want to keep it as straight as possible, so it's going to be more here, and if possible, if not, it will come at the bottom end. And we have the little swivel on it, and that will allow us to come in here and actually use the impact gun to actually take it off. So you'll see what I mean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one off, and then I'm going to put it on high speed and do the exact same on the far side before we get in here. So let's take this bracket off. Oh, sorry. This is where I wish I had a hoist. So if anybody happens to have a 2 or 4 post hoist you don't want, that I can permanently borrow, I'd be much appreciated. Now get to the last one, and the last one's on the far side. It's on the far side of this, so we just stick our head up here and try not to eat whatever wants to fall off. I have my eyes closed because this is where all the crap comes falling down, because you're on the wrong side of it. Well, lucky enough, this car is not too bad for cleanliness. The new ones are well. This is the one that goes all the way through the bumper. So if your bumper is banjoed, the nut in there can spin and it won't do anything. And well, then you are in a bit of trouble. You have to figure a way of getting it out. This one looks like it's coming out. Whew. Better slow down a bit there before I eat this thing. Oh God, it's just not loose enough to take it by hand. So long, it could be at least a half an inch shorter. Oh, it's still too tight. Well, it's moving, but it's sore on the fingers. Oh my God, this thing is full of washers as well. If I would put these things on and off, that goes to show this bumper must be on and off again. But somebody use an extra long bolt. Look at the length of this. Sorry, this side. Look at all the washers you put on it. Because obviously you hadn't got a short bolt, so they used, well, what I'd say was nearly 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. It only needs to be about just over 1 inch. So they obviously used a lot of washers to counteract the distance. Anyway, that bracket is off. So now, if you can hopefully see, what we'll do is, we'll have our socket. And it's going to go all the way in this way. And we're going to work it all the way up here until it gets onto, we're going to put on the bolt and we're going to have it from here, and that will allow us to unbolt it then. So that's the reason why we take this out, because it allows us access to it. I'm pretty sure you don't go from the top, there's no access up there. No. So like the other way you could do it is, depends on how swivel of a head you have. You might be able to go from the side. So there. Now I can do it this way. I might be able to get away with not having to swivel on it because of where it is. So which means I may end up needing a because I remember doing this before and I didn't need a swivel head. Again, it could be dependent. Yeah, I can get away with that. I have the wrong size socket on it, but like if I put it over as far as I can, now I don't need it at all actually. I can come up out through the side. I've done it that way with the swivel, but this way it looks like I don't need the swivel. So hopefully you can see it. It's literally just going straight in the corner to the straight line. I just had the wrong size socket on it. I think about 5/8 in this, and it's a 9/16. The same as the other. So I don't know if you've seen that, how much of it you could see, but we literally just went from the side. So we put, I'll do it again just so you can see, just in case you missed it, because I don't know if I picked it up on the camera. With the extension, we can go in this way now. So I'm going to through this gap and just keep it as straight as possible, and that will allow us to get that bolt out from the back, and that will allow me, if I keep putting an extension on it, I can reach it all the way out and put an impact gun on it, and then that will make it easier if you don't want to do it manually. An impact gun may be better because it takes it off in one, but then you lose the speed of it. So when I say lose the speed, it means with an impact gun it goes so quick you don't get to gradually put it out. So that's why I'm going to do the far side. I'm going to take it all apart, and then I'm going to come back to this one last, and hopefully just use a bar and crack it, and then slowly let it out. Again, we can do the same. We're going to get some cloths and put on the edge here, because in case she slides or wants to go up, we don't want to scratch any paint. So we'll put a rag around here because it has the obvious point it wants to hit. The other thing we could do, and I literally just thought about this now, is to try keep it down, is maybe put a bungee cord from the top just to underneath, just to stop it. Like I said, when it wants to come off, it's going to want to swing. It's just the natural way the bumper goes, just because of the count like this. I don't know why, just with this, it will want to go. Especially with the overriders. So if you take the overriders off separately, it's less weight, it's less likely to do that. But I'm going to take them as one, because we're replacing them as one. Well, we're replacing a whole lot, and I don't fancy putting them back on. It's one of those bolts that once you take it off, it's sometimes awkward to get it back on, so just leave it. Alright, I'm going to speed it up, and I'm going to do the far side. Like I said, I'm going to undo all of that, and we're going to come back and then take the last piece off here. So, as I said, I have an axle stand right here. I have one in the same spot on the far side, just to catch it as it comes off. Alright, rolling a bit of high speed. So the far side is all done. Now we're going to work on this side. I've already put a bit of cloth there because it's the closest point where it rubs. So I'm going to hopefully do this by hand. I'm going to try it with the Soul Tr6 drive, and hopefully, because so far this car's been pretty good in the way of the bolts haven't been too bad, like rusty, which is not always the case. Some cars you get, the bolts are absolutely brutal and you cannot get them off. So let's see how this goes. Oh, yeah. It's a loose bolt. And again, I'm being lucky because sometimes it wants to spin around in the bumper. And then when that happens, then you're in serious trouble. So now, obviously, it wants to start falling. So this is where, again, I'm going to go slow and control the speed in which it wants to come down. Actually, I realise there's two more bolts to hold it on. This is the very bottom, so I can actually go a little quicker with this. Slipping. Well, I mean slipping. It's not the fact that this ain't straight. I think the nut itself is not the greatest. So I'm gonna have a look at the far one just to make sure it is the right size, because I might have to change the socket head on this for something a little more okay. So I'm going to swap out the socket because I had the multi-tooth one, or the 12-tooth one or whatever. So just in case this is worn down, I'm going to change it to a standard socket. She's halfway out. It's just with a slip and something's not right, and that socket might have just socket might be great. Seems to be the same issue here. And again, what it could be is the nut inside the bumper spinning around. So I'm trying to go slow that it keeps a grip and I can get it out. So this may take a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to a bit of fast forward till I get this nut out. And then we'll look at, there is two more that hold it on from the bottom, and then we can, I'll show you in a minute where they are, because I forgot all about it because I'm still connected to this, and we'll get to that. Alright, so let's go on a little bit more high speed while I try to get this out. I'll show you where I am with it, so you can see. So, it is... I can't zoom in. It's probably only a third of the way out, but it keeps spinning. So what it could be is, like I said, inside the nut there. There it is. So my finger on the opposite side, inside the bumper, is a squared unit with a nut, and it can often spin around, which means it doesn't help undo it. And it gets awful difficult when that happens because you have to try to get in there. So I'm going to work on this a little bit longer and see if I can get this one out, and then I'll show you where I do the two bolts are and we'll get this bumper off. But it's getting there, almost off. Alright, we're all on more high speed, I guess. Okay, so I got that bolt out. So there's two more nuts to do, two more bolts. Let's say one because I already took one out. And that's the one I forgot, and my mistake for missing it is this one under here. Because it's still attached to the overrider, this will come off. This piece will be left behind. This has to stay here because when you put the next bumper on, regardless what you do, that stays there. Now, there is two different styles. So this one here that has the extra plate on it is extra supportive for the overriders, and that's basically for the 74 onwards. The early models don't have this plate on it. It's the exact same underneath, they just don't have this on it. So either one will do. So you might have an early or late, it doesn't make a difference. It's just if you have the overriders, you need the extra support. So I've often taken these off and put the early ones on it just because it's easier access, but it's irrelevant anyway. So I've taken the far one off, and it's now sitting on hey, look, it's me in the camera. Hey, look at my face. A big chin on me. So I've already taken this off on the far side. So we're going to take this off, and you're going to see a controlled drop onto here. And once we have that off, and then it's simply, we're just going to pull it off. So let me get off the floor again. This would be great if somebody gave John at Plan 6 Parts here a nice hoist. It would certainly go to good use. Now this one down here is not a 9/16, it's actually a 1/2 inch. So it's a 1/2 inch socket. I can't really go any lower, so you can't see it being dropped. But so I'm going to put one hand on the edge of the bumper, just so I can, what I've done on the other side is that I did raise it a bit. But hopefully I don't need to do it here. I'm just keeping one hand, I don't know if you can see my hand, I actually have it on it just to stop it from flipping over. Because the other bump on the far side is going to take the weight. And again, this one is not, it's a nut that's in it, it's already welded to it, so you don't need a spanner. There it is, it's off. So now, the whole bumper's loose. Now again, I'm holding on to it. I'm just, as you can see my hand, just holding on to it by hand so it doesn't come off. So now, hopefully you can see, because I can't see what the camera is, and now I can take the whole thing out as one. Obviously I don't have much room here. Flip it down, and look at that. Stuck to the axle stand. there we go. So there's the bumper off, and that way it can be literally installed in one piece. Obviously it needs to be cleaned and everything and all that jazz, but there's our 2 bumpers off. So you can see it's actually not that bad to get off. What I'm saying is, like I said, in here, the nut on the inside can be gone off it, and it spins in circles. And then that's when you're in trouble, and that's when you will take the overrider off to try give you access to get something in there, like a spanner. Same as here. Like I said, this one has it fixed in here. So the new ones we have putting on, I believe, just bolt straight in. But to get the overrider off, the same thing. See the nuts here? Take these off. You have a nut and a bolt, and it goes right through. And once you take them off, the whole overrider will slide off it. So you don't have to remove the bumper to take the overrider off. You just have to remove them bolts. The rear one is just a little harder because it has a cover on it. But you can still get in there. They are, if I flip it up a bit, here they are here. You go in this way. It's just getting in there. It can be a bit awkward because of where the car is. So like getting a socket in can be a little tough. I'll turn around actually. I should have just done this in the first place. So there they are there. There's your 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can do that, you can get them off. Then the plate, this plate here will actually stay behind on the car. So even if this wasn't off, you could have undone them and took the whole thing off, but then the overriders come off as well, but the plate would stay behind. In this case, we're leaving it all as one, so it will keep all the same. All right, so now that that's off, car looks pretty funky, but no, it looks a bit like a midget. I don't know if it's an insult or not. Now it's off, it's a good time to clean up and make sure everything is okay. We should do the same. Again, with here, you can see the way the holes lined up. So we're going to do the exact same thing, and we are going to loosen the bolts here, and allows that to wobble, and that way when we go to put it back on, it has the movement, but it allows the bolt to go in, and then once everything is tied up, like the back and the sides all line up and they're straight, then we can tighten these up in the end. So you could loosen them at the start, but I like to leave them like this personally to take it off. As you can see, it came off pretty easy. They're 6-ton axle stands, only because they're taller, and you can see the difference. I put them right in the edge to hold the weight. So all good. So now what we'll do is I'll move on to start removing this, and we're going to talk a little bit about these bumpers. So guess will I clean up? It's going to be more high speed. Will I open this box and start stripping all the covers off the bumpers? Ready? Oh, the covers on it. Yep, I'm going to strip all that stuff off and get rid of the box and get ready to put them on. So roll on the high speed again. Okay, so here's our new bumpers. As you can see, they are shiny. In fact, you can see my reflection in it. Hello, I'm looking at the camera here beside me. So let's talk a little bit about these bumpers. And if you wonder why this has, because I'm just cleaning them off because I took them out of the box and I got all my sticky fingers on them. So now I'm just wiping them down. Let's look at the quality on them. The inside is obviously just painted and obviously full of styrofoam still. So it's obviously there's still a static charge and sticking to it. We know what styrofoam is like. Same as the ends, or it's simple painted. So the only part that's actually stainless steel is the very outside. But as you can see me as clear as anything in this. Hello. The quality of them for what you pay is amazing. And I've put these on before. And the good thing is though, since they're, look at that flag. Because they are stainless steel, you won't get that pitting, you won't get anything like that. They're also very light. They're actually very light. So compared to the original ones, this whole set is probably the same weight as probably the rear bumper on its own. Now, let's look at some advantage and disadvantage. The advantage, you get stainless steel over chrome. I'll pick that all day long, personally. You get lightweight over heavyweight. I'll pick that all day long. Are these as strong as the originals? No. I would guess that these probably, based on the thickness, are probably run anywhere between 50 to 75% structurally compared to the other ones. So like a 25% drop. Now again, if you get into a good smash, they're going to buckle just the same as the rest of them. But for strength-wise, I would have said they're a lighter grade metal. But I look at that. That's a disadvantage. But I also look at it as that it doesn't make much of a difference, because unfortunately, if you're going into a smash, it's not going to make much of a difference anyway. They're all going to be wrecked either way. So obviously it comes with a fitting kit, which is all stainless steel as well. There's only 2 types of these sets of bumpers available. One is the early, well, I'll say there actually is 3, when the Tr6 has 4 models of bumper. So here's the middle at the back. As you can see, there's no holes in this. So this ideally is for like a late 72, and it's even a little late, i.e. like September 72 onwards to September 73. So that's this one. However, we can get this with the 2 holes for the rear tail lamp, which will then run from 69 all the way up to be like September 72 or early 72. Yeah, I'm not sure when he changed the bumpers. It was early or late. I'm pretty sure it was late September 72 is when he changed it to the license plate light not being on this. So you can get these in the different forms. And again, if you come here to Tr6 parts, we can get them. You just have to say whether you want the early or late. The front bumper is the same, all the way from 69 all the way to 74. Same front bumper. That does not change. So where does it change? Well, it changes when you get to 1975. The Tr6, though, however, changes in 1974. And what I mean is, I'm going to take this off to show you. So here's our new, I'm going to zoom out a bit, hopefully it doesn't spin around because I'm wearing gloves. This is our new stainless steel bumper kit. Here's our original ones that we took off. Now, if you notice the other ones, these have overriders on them, which is pretty common from 74 onwards. These do not have any holes for any overriders whatsoever. So you're thinking, oh, these are 73, but they're 74 as well. This kit is not available with the hole in the front bumper for the overriders. They're not available. The only way you can get it with the overriders is go for the 75, 76 kit, but they are different because the lights and they're built, they have a groove cut out because the lights are below the bumper, not on top. These are the odd ones because this is the 74 model. So this one has the 73 bumpers, and all they done was they added the holes, or in this case, you have a cutout here, but they added the holes to put overriders. They also bulked up the actual bracket because of the extra weight. So only in 74 do you get the 73 style bumpers with no holes in it with the overriders. Once you go to 75, 76, again, it says that here it'd be cut out and you have lights in there. Now, if you want to see what this kit looks like for the 75, 76, go to our onto Tr6 Parts YouTube channel, which you should be on if you're watching this, and look up the Delft Blue one because I have installed a set of these onto that. So, the Tr6 has 4 bumpers. Early model, which is identical to this with no overriders. But I had the lamp here. So it's 2 holes and you have the license plate light here. Late 72 to 70, late 72, late 73 have same bumper, but the lights are now in the body instead. So now this is like this, flush. 74 then changed it and added in the overriders onto that bumper. And then 75, 76, the rear bumper is the same, apart from it has the Triumph emblem on a chromed section underneath. And the front bumpers changed the lights from above and now have a cutout and have them fixed at the bottom. So that's 4 different designs of bumper originally. These are only available in 3 designs. Early with the holes, late without the holes, which is this kit, and the 75, 76. So you cannot get overriders with this style bumper, or should I say the front one, like this. So, like, you can make the rear one work if you didn't put the Triumph badge in it, but that's the only downfall. So that's, if you wanted to get stainless steel for only 74, which is this car here, it's the only thing you can't do. So that's why we're going back to the 73 model. So that's the way I look at it. These are for 73, and we're going with that because there's no overriders and it's a lot lighter weight. So the kits themselves are great. Like I said, come to the Plan 6 Parts website, go onto the British Car Parts Online link that's on that webpage, and you can find this kit, this bumper kit here on that page. So we do offer the kit as a supply and fit, or if you want just the kit on its own, it'd be a little less, but it's based on supply and fit. So the only other thing about this, it gives you the hardware, which is absolutely fine. Again, all stainless steels. The only thing this kit doesn't give you, and you have to add it on, is the spacer. So obviously there's a spacer that goes to the rear to join the two together. Now, I want to base it as the only reason they don't give you that is because you probably think you're taking your old bumpers apart and to use that. You really should give you that spacer. Maybe you just don't have the rights to make it, because the original spacer doesn't give you nuts and bolts. It gives you a triangle plate, and the nut only goes one direction. So like it's easy to put together instead of holding two at the same time. However, after watching this video, you can see how the rear bumper comes off. The rear bumper here is going to go on the same way. So like bolting it together is absolutely fine, and it's going to slip in the same way. The only difference is ideally someone to hold it, or we use the axle stands and then work our way in to hold it that way. So we have to get spacers for this. That's the only downfall, so that's the only little extra charge. But other than that, the actual quality of the bumper itself is amazing for the price. It is probably cheaper to buy this entire kit than to get one of your bumpers like stripped and re-chromed, and then like I said, most likely when you take the overriders off, if you have them, they're probably going to end up like breaking. You don't go back on, like, because that's why I didn't want to take them off, because they are notorious that water sits in there and that bolt usually snaps and then you can't get it out, and there's a little collar, the sleeve that runs all the way down it breaks and so on. Like, it's just a nightmare. It's like once they're on, leave them on. To take them off, leave them off. So they're a ridiculous thing. Anyway, so that's it with them. So I can't install the rear one yet because I think we just ran out of gaskets in stock here. So we'll have to wait for that. However, we still can put the front bumper on, so that we can work on. Now, what do you do on the inside here? Like, do you put a gasket here or not? If you have very thin rubber, a very thin sheet, I say you could, just in case for any vibration, stop any scratching. But to be honest, you probably should be able to go straight to it. And I only say that because, let me zoom in on the bumper. Hopefully the camera doesn't swing around as that. There's a reason why it looks like that, and that's because of it moving, like bumps, like just the sheer pressure on it. So, like everything else in there, if you want to stop that, put something thin there, just to, like one rubber washer even, just to stop that. But it's meant to be pressed against it, so like, oh no. And one way I want to do it, just to help prevent all that, but it is what it is. It goes up against it, so we can put the front bumper on okay. Now, while we're on the notes of bumpers, fitting. So like I said, the early models all have their lights here above the bumper, and that goes all the way up. In 75, 76, like I said, the bumper, the lights are below, so therefore the fitting is actually higher. So if you ever see a fender or a front wing, and it has the hole, two holes in it, it could be it's somebody's obviously moved it at some point and adjusted it. But that's what makes these different, is that hole, because if you can get an early fender for a late model and it won't fit, just because that hole's in the wrong spot. And I've done that. I've had ones and we've filled them in and painted it, or we've had to drill new holes, so it can get done. The bottom end of the valence, I believe, is also different as well, because it's in a different spot. The square is up a bit because there's a hole there that's narrower, because there's another piece that goes onto the overrider. It actually comes through and grabs through, and it goes through the valence. So theoretically, you cannot put a 75, 76 bumper on an early model and vice versa. So just be mindful of that before you order which one you have, and double check your valences, because when you take that lamp out, you'll see it long. The late one has a shorter, squarer above it, and that's just for the block here to fit into. It sort of sits in, if that makes any sense. Have a look at the 75, 76 Delft Blue one on my YouTube channel. You'll see what I mean when I put the bumpers on. Oh, God, I'm trying to get that out now with heartburn. Because I just did. Okay, that's it. So we will work on, it won't be tonight, we'll come back to me and we will start putting the front bumper on, and I may have to order in some gas if we don't have it. So, yeah, see you in a bit, in a few seconds really to you, and we'll go put the front bumper on. Alright, welcome back. So now it's time to put the bumper on. So, I said about loosening the 2 bolts down here on either side, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to see if I can get the bumper on before I set them up, because I know the original bumper was on and it may see it a little different, but I'm going to try it before, because them bolts are absolutely brutal to try undo, these ones here. So before I get into doing that unnecessarily, if maybe, I'm going to see if I can fit the bumper first. Now, it does come with its own hardware. Obviously all stainless steel bolts, as I said. I'm going to double up though on the front, sorry. So the front one's going to double up on, bolt on the outside as well. And I have the bolts placed down. As you can see, I'm trying to pick a washer up off the ground. You see, I put axle stands on, I have the cloths on them. I'm going to place the bumper on top of it and line it up to sit on top. I'm basically going to turn around and put this in and try get the first little treads in it, first screw. Just enough to hold it to stop it from falling over. I'm going to do the same on the far side. Now, this is not as easy as what you think. It seems pretty straightforward, but if it's not lined up correctly, it can be misaligned. Plus the fact that, as well as this may not be correct for the new bumper, it's also the sides. If the sides are actually tacked in, it can actually move it as well. So there's a number of different factors to how the bumper can move. But we're just going to put it on and see if we can get, see if we can get it to line up and screw in first. So we'll give it a chance, so we'll try it before we pry it, to say the word. Alright, so let's get the bumper. Okay, so I just wanted to sit on it and sit as close as I can to it. Now, let this go, it's not going to go. But I know every time I usually do this, it normally wants to fall over. So I'm going to be careful and keep a hand in the case. So I'm basically going to just reach my hand in, and I'm going to reach up and try fit it in and try screw it by hand if I can. Just get the first couple of threads in first. So I know you can't see me do it, but it's, if my hand's in here, you won't see much anyway. Now, get in there. I do have a bit of a cheat in that the bonnet is not on this car, so I can get to it from the top. But I'm not going to do that because if you were doing this, you wouldn't have the lid off. Okay, that's the first thread. So I have it maybe two threads in, just enough because I need to be able to wiggle it as much as I can in the event I have to move. So we'll see how close it is to lining up when I go to put this in it. It's close, very close. I feel like I need to come over this way a tiny bit. It's tight that I don't know if I have threads in it. It's starting to thread. This is so close. It's going in. It just doesn't want to actually. It's not smooth. So it's hard to tell if I'm actually getting it on or I'm just trying to ring itself. I'm going to try. It might be up. So I'm going to get the socket and see if I can do a little. Got it? No, it's not. If I get my socket. Now these are most like I looked at it. It's different. It's not. It should be in metrics, not imperial. So we're looking at 17 mil. So see if I can get. I feel like it needs to come over. Oh, not even an 8, like a fraction, because I was just starting to get a grip on it, and that could be down to this bracket here needing to be loosened and twisted to get the treads on it, and then tighten it back in, or stretch it out a bit. I could also try to pull this. I don't think it's gotten in. Now, there's another couple of options we have before we loosen this bracket. Is I can put the side bolts in and see if it'll pull itself into position. The other thing I'm also going to do is twist it, just in case it's actually. In the event that it's completely crooked. Oh, it's so close. Oh man. Can't believe I have to undo this thing. No, maybe. I'll do this one last stroke and I'm gonna take the bracket off. Okay. Unfortunately, it wasn't lined up. So that's unfortunate. It doesn't match with how we had to pull it to get it out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo the bolts on the bottom and allow that bracket to move. So these are terrible. I'll probably have to use the impact gun. But I'm going to do just the one, and hopefully I have enough because it's so close. I'm going to just try to do the one instead of doing the two of them. So I'm going to work on this one. So I'm going to go with my impact gun and I'm going to go under here and loosen that. Because that's held in, I don't want to start pulling it all apart yet. So I'm going to do that. Alright, join me in a minute while I go loosen these bolts and then I'll show you where the bolts is, where it is. It's pretty straightforward. Alright, back in a second. Alright, so I finally got them off. It took about 20 minutes because they were both completely seized. I used the impact gun on the inside, but this one here was completely seized and you can see I had to heat it up just to get it out. So to give you an idea, there's the, what's it look like on the far side. So that's the bolts the way you go through, and you come out this side. So once they're loose, then the whole bracket is loose. I'm going to show you up here because I don't have the bonnet on, so I can show you. So if you have it, you'll have to loosen these two, and as you can see, the whole thing wobbles. Now, actually, no, you don't have to loosen these two, but you can see the whole unit wobbles, and now it gives me a lot more play. So now I should be able to get the bolt in. So it's pretty close before. Now I should be able to get it in this time. Where is it gone? Oh, it's supposed to be right here. Typical. I'll go to put it in and go for a walk. Probably went under the mat that was here. Oh, that's not the right washers either. There we go. Now we should be good. Oh, it's toasty in here because okay. Oh yeah. Here, just like that. So that's ideally you want to do is move them brackets down there. But like I said, I tried it first, didn't work. I loosened one, it worked. If it was still a bit odd, or if I still need to shift it across, I'd loosen both, and then I'd bolt into the sides first, and then reset them. So now the rim, you can put the side ones in, and again, why is this? It's one of those things that you put something down, and it goes for a walk. Here it is here. Like, I'm looking for these things. These I'm going to guess are probably a 12. Actually, I never got the socket for these. They're a 13. Okay. 13 attached. Now again, I haven't put much movement on this, so I didn't need to tape it up. I said the bolts that come for this are awful long. There's only one of them that will go into the side. Again, it's aftermarket, so they're coarse. Not fine, but they're really long. I don't know why they're that length. Now I'm just going to stop as it touches the body because I'm going to put the far one in. So now it's in. Now it's in, believe it or not, I'm actually going to loosen it a tiny bit. I wonder why. Well, because the front of it still has to tighten up, so I have to move backwards. So we can't tighten these up yet. So I have it enough that allows it when it gets tightened up that there might be a little slide here, but that's about it. So now that's on, I can actually start to tighten up down the front. 17 mil. And again, how tight do you need this? Well, that's a choice you want to make. Like how torqued is it meant to be? I'm gonna just do it by hand. Just, not exactly spark plug tight, but before I fully tighten it, I'll do the same thing. I don't like tightening anything with this swivel on it. This is just to line it up, and then I'll try to get the swivel off it. I don't like, because you can't get a good torque with a swivel. So, but I want to tighten enough that it's not moving. It's literally hand tight, so therefore torquing it is not going to push it back any further. Because then I can do the sides, and I can tighten them down. My recommendation for torque would be 20-30 pounds, which probably should be a just good hand tight. That's where I'd go. Doesn't give you any torque specs. Now you can go look up the original one, but I wouldn't go away because that's a heavier bumper. So before we do the final tightening, let's have a look at what she looks like. Oh, look at that nice shiny bumper. Whee! So I should be able to. They're still holding up. Oh, it's still. I had it up so high, it's still holding it. So what I'll do is I'm just going to, I need two hands. I'm just going to lift it a bit just to make it slide out. Again, you wouldn't have this if you had two people. We're on. So just had to put a bit more torque in the center, and then I'm going to tighten these back up. Them bolts there. So the two, I'll put two nuts in it because the other two are brutal. There is actually the original washers are still on it. I just changed the nuts. So I'm going to tighten this up, tighten that up, and that should seal it up, and that's the front bumper on. Just, it's easy as that, but it's complicated as that. To be honest, the only real complications was removing that bar. That's all. Otherwise, if it was lined up a little better, it would have been on in no time. Well, in saying that, if you have two people, it's easier to do that. See, that's where I used to heat it up. All right, so I do have to get a gasket for that, so I'm going to hang on for that for now. But it could be a few days for me to get the gasket, or go find a used one. Or else I get some new ones, but to you, it's literally going to be in the click of a finger. We're going to be doing the rear bumper. So, yeah, time to do the rear bumper. that was a pain to get in. Like I said, make sure you use 2 people. Woo! Alright, now I have that in, I'm going to start doing the sides of it. Whoa! Getting too old for this. Hello? Yes. He did. He did do the video. Yeah. I told you to do that video. Yeah. I asked him. I said, hey John, can you do a video? Can you do that? Installing stainless steel bumpers in that Tr6 for the restoration page. And he was like, absolutely. I'll be more than happy to do it. And he did. Yeah. Good video? Yeah. And you know, if you need anything, give me a shout. I can pass the word on. I know him very, very well. Oh yes, oh, I watch his videos all the time. In fact, I feel like I'm watching them right now. Okay, will do. Have a good one. Glad to help. Okay, bye. Well, John, still a happy customer. Suppose we roll on the next video. So, as you can see, installing the bumpers on this Tr6, or any Tr6, is not exactly plain sailing. It may look easy in these videos, but trust me, going over it a few times and doing them a few times, it just gets easier because I've done it a few times. Trust me, doing it for the first time is nerve-wracking. So, with that, I hope this video was educational if you plan on doing the same thing. If not, for the entertainment purposes, I hope it's good to watch what people want to do with their vehicles and see them being reamped and see what they look like different. Because at the end of the day, we all have our own opinions and choices and desires, and also our own eye on what we want to see with the vehicles. In this case, obviously, it's always the owner's choice. So, with that as well, I'd like to say I appreciate everybody who watches these videos and the feedback we get, because it's always something to be used. And as I always say, whether I'm making a video or somebody's watching it, there's always something to learn, there's always something else that somebody can put in there. And again, education, tips, always helps everybody, and that's what it is at the end of the day. So, for the people who have subscribed, I really, really appreciate it, and I hope you keep watching videos. And for the people who haven't, I appreciate you hitting the button, because again, it just gives me the confidence to make more, and again, it's all about helping people out. So, with that, that's it for this video, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching here at TR Restorations.